Okay. Oh. Howdy y'all. I'm Anna with Always Right, and in today's 12 Days of Christmas video, we're doing the Barnes & Noble book sale. Now, it's time for me to leave, and I will be bringing y'all along to my little local, like my neighboring towns, Barnes & Noble, and we're gonna go buy some books. Now, some things have changed this year. I've got just a second to tell you before I go to the store. And one of the big things is that they're not doing the half off books anymore, which sucks. Not too enthused about that. Instead this year, they're doing 33% off of hardcovers, which is better than most Amazon chances you have, if you will. But if you are one of their premium members, okay, if you give them $50 a year, yeah, you get $20 of a credit once you spend $50 on a hardcover book. So let's do some quick book math. If you bought 4 books, let's say four, at $30 each, that would, I know Hera, that would normally be $120. Well, on the half off book sale, that would be brought down to $60 without you having to do anything, without any finagling, without any difficulty, if you will. With this current sale they have, the metrics, the way they're breaking it down, instead of doing that, you would have to buy 3 books at $30, take off $10, that bring it down to about $60. That would be over the $50 like goal that they're setting. And then you get a $20 credit that you can use towards your 4th book. So in the end, you're almost paying the same, but you gotta buy a lot of books. You gotta spend a lot of money to be able to achieve and maintain that that rate, that percentage, whatever. Now, real quick, before I go, like I said, I don't have very long. I've gotta leave like in the next minute or two. There are a lot of good books that are available on the website at 50% off. I feel like the website has a lot of really good options for 50% off. And so I'm excited about that because they've got like the Big Swiss 50% off. They have a lot of Book of the Month books that are 50% off. And they've got like some other books like Chlorine and Chasm, some books that I'm very interested in and probably gonna buy. But I've gotta go, so let's get shopping. And I got the books. Oh, I also got some muscle stuff in. Right here, bruh. She's like, I have no idea. So, hi. I returned I have been thoroughly educated on the Barnes & Noble book sale, and boy, do I got an update for you. And I'm gonna go through these books. So we'll have a discussion once I get my little wine, and then I'll do like a little book haul. Got 2 bags here, so should be a pretty good book haul. Yeah, Ava, yeah. Oh, you're a good girl. So I'll be back. First, let's talk about the Barnes & Noble book sale, because I just got done doing a lot of like post-Christmas shopping, and it was very good. I got amazing gifts for Christmas. I had a wonderful Christmas. However, it's like a new tradition my mom and I have where we go to Barnes & Noble the day after Christmas and we buy books that were published in the last year or two that we've been wanting to read but just didn't catch them on the right sale, just didn't think about them, but now all of a sudden with them being half off hardcovers, it's worth it. I want to say that I had a very good book haul this year. I bought a lot of books. My mom also bought a lot of books, as you can see. It was a very, very fun day. We got to bond, we got to do exactly what we wanted to do, which was look at books, talk about books, and like get out of town and not really worry about anything else. Barnes & Noble for the last like 2 years has had these really huge sales where like every hardcover book, even the board back books, would be 50% off. It was amazing, it was great. So Christmas evening, I'm sitting there with my mom. I was doing a puzzle. You know, we had just wrapped up a Christmas movie. And she went, oh, are we still going to Barnes & Noble for the sale? Are we gonna still do that? Are there a lot of books that you wanna buy? Obviously yes. And I told her, I said, yeah. I said, have you heard any chatter? I said, let me check online, see if there's anything on Reddit, see if there's any promotion, anything at all. So we go online and there's a lot of like him and Han about last year, about how great it was, all this excitement. And then there was like a post on Reddit, and I won't be able to find it in time for this video. But essentially this post on Reddit was like, oh, I went and I asked the manager if they're doing this sale again at my local store, and they said no, but there's something even better that they're doing. Just like, okay, great, what does that mean? We were kind of speculating. We're like, okay, they're not doing the 50% off. There were a lot of joke comments under this thread in Reddit. It was like, oh, I bet it's like spend $50 on hardcover books and get a free like small cappuccino or frappuccino or something from the Starbucks. You know, just a lot of jokes because Barnes & Noble's coupons recently have not been great. Let's talk about the pricing. This morning for me, a few minutes ago for you, where basically I broke it down. If you buy 4 books that are hardcover, you got 4 books that are hardcover, they're $30 each. Normally, that would be $120, but with the half off sale, this all of a sudden is now $60. So they're $15 each. That's how half off works, you know? How my interpretation was you could buy these 4 books, but to get the same $60 price, you had to buy these 3 books at 33% off, so they'd be $20 each for $60, and then you'd get a $20 coupon because you've spent over $50 on hardcover books, and then you could buy this one because this one would be $20, so you'd still be spending $60 at the time, like at the visit, at the same day, whatever, but still $60 buying 4 books. That's how we interpreted it. So Mom, while we were driving like the hour to the next town over that has a Barnes & Noble, she looked it up, and it is not, hey, buy these 3 books and then you'll get a $20 credit if you're like a premium member the same day. It is buy $50 worth of hardcovers, aka 3 hardcovers at about $20 each, bringing you up to $60, and then like in a day or two, they would grant you stamps that would be worth $20 that you could then use on a hardcover thing. But if you're catching what I'm throwing, you have to be a premium member to do it. You can't just be a member. You have to be, I think, the premium standard member to even unlock that extra $20. So I looked on Amazon for a lot of the books, and I did find actually one book on Amazon that was significantly cheaper. It was like 67% off for some reason. Oh, The Warden by Daniel M. Ford. This one looks really cool. I was really fortunate to get it for like $10 and 13 cents with free Prime shipping. So you can see why I got this one on Amazon. Barnes & Noble does have half off of like 685-ish hardcover fiction novels. Last year, Barnes & Noble also had like 600 or 700 titles that were in like the fiction category for hardcovers that were half off. You didn't have to go in the store. You didn't have to do anything special. It's just you would go onto their website, see the book, add it to your cart, buy it. You got it for half off. And they have quite a few. They have almost 700 books that are hardcovers that are on the website. And we were hoping that because they were half off on the website, they would also be just a flat 50% off in the store. I'm going to tell you this now so to save you time. They are not. If you are wanting Big Swiss or Chlorine or like Tom Lake or what is this one? Jonathan Abernathy, You Are Kind. Like if you're wanting any of the titles that are available online for half off, just buy it at half off. Don't do what I did, because we asked 2 different employees and they said yes, they would price match it to 50%. And then we got up to the cashier stand and they said no, we're not gonna do that. So I ended up getting a lot of books at this time from this store, you know, getting my bullshit $20 coupons. I'll say it, I hate them. But doing that, so don't be like me. If you see titles that you really, really want that are half off, buy them at half off on the website. Don't go into the store because half off on the website is for anyone. The store, it's for like, I think the premium members. I don't like it. I'm not happy with this sale, I will say, especially because they're doing that tomfoolery of 33% off, and then you get $20, essentially like a coupon for a book in the future. Which if you didn't go on the very first day of the Barnes & Noble sale, you're not gonna get one of these books at 33% off with your $20 coupon, if that makes sense. That's my rant. Welcome. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Now let's talk actual books and relax. The first book is Daughter by Claudia Day. This cover is like absolutely fascinating. It's just like this nice matte black, and then it has kind of like what I would say is like a cave opening for like an ocean cave, and just like a splash of water coming up, and it's beautiful. It's got kind of that ombre feel to it. It's nice. Now, this is actually one that I found just by kind of browsing and just kind of chilling, living my best life. It's originally $27. I don't know how. So it got brought down to 18 basically. And Daughter is essentially a literary fiction novel that explores the relationship between our main character, Mona Dean, and her father. Daughter is an obsessive, blazing examination of the forces that drive us to become, to create, and to break free. This was published this year, which is very surprising. That's very interesting. I didn't know, I hadn't heard anything about it, but I'm very excited. Like I said, it focuses a lot on the relationship between the father and the daughter. The father ends up having an affair and basically like confides in the daughter about the affair before ruining his marriage to his wife, aka the main character, Mona's mom. And yeah, there's a evil stepmom involved. It sounded really interesting. It was well rated on Goodreads. I've learned my lesson from last year. I still get attracted by beautiful foils and like golds and ombres and like sharp contrast. But I did my research on this one and it sounds very, very good. Next up is Molly McGee's Jonathan Abernathy, You Are Kind. Let you look at this cover for a second. Isn't this stunning? It is so pretty. This was originally $27, got brought down to $18 with the discount. This is a story that's kind of, it sounds a little literary, sounds a little kind of sci-fi. It sounds very, very interesting. It's basically about Jonathan Abernathy, who is a certified loser, and you know, he just has everything going wrong in his life until he gets offered a literal dream job. And when I say literal dream job, no, I mean literal dream job. His job to pay off his debt is a government job where basically he has to go into the minds of like the middle class workers and while they're sleeping, remove the mundane aspects, the kind of tiring aspects from their dreams, for their consciousness. It sounds absolutely wild. It's a workplace novel at once tender, startling, and deeply funny. This book is a stunning critical work of surrealist fiction, a piercing critique of late-stage capitalism, and a reckoning with its true cost. Next up is Elizabeth Lim's When You Wish Upon a Star, A Twisted Tale. This is a chunky boy. This one is actually for my mother. This is the retelling of Pinocchio with a what if question. And that what if question is, what if the blue fairy wasn't supposed to help Pinocchio? This is YA fantasy. It's cute. It sounds interesting. Elizabeth Lim is the one who did Spinning the Dawn, I believe. She's done a lot of these Disney Twisted Tale books. But this one's basically like a retelling of Pinocchio. Like if he didn't get help. She does a really good job writing kind of the stark realities of situations. I have her Mulan one with what if Shang actually did die, you know, and what if Mulan died or whatever. So it's interesting. I don't know much about it outside of what's on the cover and the inside flap. Next book is The Librarianist. I have no idea. This is by Patrick DeWitt. And this is one that my mom picked. This is one of her little picks. It was $30, so it got brought down to $20. This one, I don't know if I said it. I'm gonna have to do math. It was $19, so it got brought down to about $13-ish. That's me doing like really lazy math. I think it's about $13. So there's that. The Librarianist. From the best-selling and award-winning author Patrick DeWitt comes the story of Bob Comet, a man who has lived his life through and for literature, unaware that his own experience is a poignant and affecting narrative in itself. This is a wide-ranging and ambitious document of the introvert's condition. The Librarianist celebrates the extraordinary in the so-called ordinary life and depicts beautifully the turbulence that sometimes exists beneath a surface of serenity. So it sounds interesting, sounds, you know, like it's about a librarianist. I'm very helpful. Next up is Anne Patchett's Tom Lake. Of course it is. Of course it is. This is a classic. This won so many awards. It was originally $30, so it got brought down to $20. That's right. And it's a beautiful and moving novel about family, love, and growing up. And Patchett, once again proves herself to be one of America's finest writers. Now, one thing I learned about this a little too late after we had purchased it, the audiobook is narrated by Meryl Streep. So my mom has already decided that she's excited for this book, but she's going to be getting the audiobook so she can have Meryl Streep read it to her. I looked at some of like the Goodreads reviews and people were going on and gushing about Meryl Streep, and they were also gushing about Anne Patchett's prose and just the content of it, and it sounds really cute, and I'm gonna say it, I thought Tom Lake was gonna be a thickums. He's not. He's approachable. He's barely over 300 pages. I think it's like 311. I'm gonna read this after she does. Oh, so big. I'm gonna read this after she does. I'm probably gonna read the audiobook while skimming the physical book. I think I need Meryl Streep lulling me to sleep. That's what I need in my life. Next up is Psyche and Eros by Luna McNamara. Now, this is a novel that I have entered into so many of the Goodreads like giveaways to try and win because I've always wanted it. It sounds really cute. It's a retelling of Psyche and Eros. The story of Psyche and Eros is actually like the story I had to not like perform, but I had to memorize and present to my high school freshman year English class. And I really like the story. I learned a lot about it when I was reading it, of course, and researching it, as well as like after my presentation, our teacher gave us notes and I learned a lot. This originally was $30. Oh yeah, Tom Lake. Sorry, Tom Lake. Tom Lake was 30, he's now 20. So Psyche and Eros was $30, it got reduced down to 20. I know it kills me. Those $5 add up so quickly. Like just these 3 books alone, if I had saved that extra $5, I could have a 4th one. Okay, I'm done. I'm done griping. I'm done gritching for now. The next one is Monstrilio by Gerardo Simona Cordova. Now this is a cover, isn't that a heck of a cover? That's a cover, isn't it? And yeah, this one is very interesting. It's been compared to like Metamorphosis, the one where the guy turns into a cockroach, and other works of horror. This is considered horror. It was $27, so it got knocked down to $18. It's a horror, it's a weird, it's an interesting, but it's a novel that's about this mother whose son dies, and so she like takes a piece of his lung and she nurtures it, and it comes to life, but not as like a human lung like it originally was. It comes to life as like a little monster baby. So she's nurturing it, and that's kind of the premise of it. It sounds interesting. A lot of people that I like, they really like this book. God, what is her name? Books with Lala. I hope I remember this correctly. She liked this one. And so I trust her on these kind of stories for the most part, and I'm excited. Next up is a chunky boy. This is Meanwood by Nicola Griffith. Yeah. I always do this to myself. This was $35, and that brought it down to about $23. So it's still a little more than I was like excited to pay. But it did bring it down a bit. This is essentially, but not explicitly, a sequel to Hild, another book that Nicola Griffith wrote. Now, if you're wondering why I bought this when I've never even read Hild, and I don't even think I have it yet, I haven't ordered it yet, I'm gonna be doing that like right after this video. The reason I bought it is because I have Spear by Nicola Griffith. Nope, you can balance. And I really liked Spear. So I went ahead and got this one, the Meanwood, because I love the way she writes, and she makes everything really interesting, and I like her retellings. So your girl's gotta go buy another one of these. Let me show you the difference. Like, this is Spear. There we go. That's like, I agree, Hera. That's like, yeah. I want to see how many pages it is. Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess how many it is? It is 681, published in 2023. So I got a lot of reading to do, it seems. I don't know if I trust that there. Continuing on, the next book is The Memory of Animals by Claire Fuller. This is another novel that every single time there was a Goodreads like giveaway of it, I entered it. I love the cover. I love the premise of it. It's basically set in a futuristic world. In the face of a pandemic, an unprepared world scrambles to escape the mysterious disease causing sensory damage, nerve loss, and in most cases, death. The memory of animals is an ambitious, deeply imagined world of survival and suspense, grief and loss, consequences, and connectedness that asks what truly defines us and to what lengths we will go to rescue ourselves and those we love. This was $28. It got brought down to about $19 with that discount. So I'm excited about that. I think that's really cool. I love the cover. I think the cover is so cool. So I'm gonna move on, and I'm not gonna put anything on this one because I don't trust it. Next one is Chlorine by Jade Song. I had never heard of this book until like the sale. This is one that is half off. Buy it on the website. Don't waste your time trying to go to the store. It was $30, which is literary. You know, literary, it's just kind of how they do. Well, the reviewers talked about this book, and it's like a cross between like a bloody horror book and a literary fiction novel. So I was like all about that. Came out in 2023. She is a baby. It is 237 pages. Nice, short, manageable, very approachable. Basically, Chlorine is about, I'm reading it as like a high school girl who is a swimmer. She's on the swim team. She's really good, you know, and she's like, oh, I could do all this stuff and I'd be really successful, you know, and I could have a happy life and people would be proud of me and people would love me for being a great swimmer and blah, 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 blah. It takes a turn and it's like, no, no, no. She was raised on stories of mermaids and she longs for the smell of chlorine, hence the title, aka she longs to be in the pool swimming, no matter how much blood she has to spill. This sounds outrageous, it sounds interesting, and the reason that I like pulled the trigger and bought it instead of just, you know, asking my library or blah, 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 was that one of the top reviews for this book, because I did check Goodreads, I learned my lesson, mentions that they basically want to like dissect the author's brain to see how she's able to come up with these sentences and make them make sense. Love that. Always looking for books that will hopefully help me better my prose. So let me move these little friends. Eek! Ah. One of these is not like the other. I got a paperback. I know, I failed the assignment. This is Witch of Wild Things. This is just a really cute little kind of, it's not like romantasy, but it's like a fantasy novel where there's plot, you know, there's a drive, and then there's like a little bit of romance. Like the romance truly is the B plot. There is a core A plot, and the B plot is just there to keep us happy. But this is Witch of Wild Things by Raquel Vasquez Gilliand. It's basically about a family that is cursed and they received gifts. And the main daughter that we're following, I believe she's the middle daughter, she has the ability to talk to plants. And she's got to figure out how to undo the curse. Her older sister is dead, and she sometimes sees her older sister when she cries. It sounds super cute. It just came out this year. I have heard nothing about it. I'm super, super, super excited about it. So I can't wait to read this. This is definitely going to like the front of my pile, so it's gonna go not in the stack that we're rebuilding. Next book is The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arakawa. This is adorable. Look at this little book. It's about cats. It's about, you know, travel. It's about Japan. They will learn the true meaning of courage and gratitude, of loyalty and love. So the story is basically the cat and the man, Nana and Satoru. I do this with everything. And Satoru are going in this little van that you can see right here on the cover. And they're exploring the Japanese countryside, and they're going to visit 3 of Satoru's friends all around Japan. So it has, I'm hoping, a lot of descriptive text. It's just really cute. And he's written, I think, 2 other books in this similar vein or same vein. And that's actually how I found it. This one was one while browsing. Some of these I did find the week before when I went to the store. I kind of scoped out what I was interested in, what I wanted to get. And that's probably why I ended up with so many, is because I let myself like scope it out, and then I let myself just free reign. So I'm glad I got this. This was originally 24. That's not nearly as bad. So it got brought down to about 16. Next up is Big Swiss by Jen Bagan. And yeah, this one is just fascinating, very interesting. This is one that I've heard about from BookTube, and some of the people that I follow just really, really liked it. It's a little more on the literary side. It was $27, got brought down to 18. It's bold, outlandish, and filled with irresistible characters. Big Swiss is both a love story and a deft examination of infidelity, mental health, sexual stereotypes, and more from an amazingly talented singular voice in contemporary fiction. It's about our main girl, Greta. I don't think this is explicitly her, but for all intents and purposes, this is Greta. And she works on transcribing notes and sessions for this sex therapist, I believe he is. Therapy sessions for a sex coach who calls himself Om. So she works basically listening to people's voices and typing up what they're saying. She's in like a supermarket or something. She's in public. She recognizes one of the voices. It's one of her employer's clients, and he's married, I believe. And so she basically acts a fool. That's the politest way to describe it. And she starts aggressively pursuing this man because she knows all of his secrets, basically. She knows all of his fantasies, XYZ. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And it's one that I've been wanting to get. Note, this is also a book that is half off on the website. If you have been eyeing it, you want the hardcover, but you don't want to spend $27, same. And this one's actually a new one, is A River of Golden Bones by A.K. Mulford. This is such a pretty cover. I love kind of the ombre. I'm a sucker for ombre. And I love like the animal aspect too. I'm a sucker for animals on covers. We already knew this. Yeah, this is a romantasy novel as far as I can tell. It was originally $29, so it got brought down to about $19-ish, closer to 20. It has a sleeping curse, a fallen court, and a secret twin. Full of adventure, love, gender exploration, and self-discovery, A River of Golden Bones follows Kala's journey through treacherous wolf kingdoms, monster-filled realms, and into the depths of their own heart in this thrilling romance fantasy. It sounds cute. It's got like wolves. They don't call them werewolves. They call them wolves. There's an evil sorceress. There's a wedding that goes awry. It sounds interesting. It's also not too chunky. This is a fantasy novel that I haven't heard much about. It's about 375 pages long, which is not bad, not too much. So that's A River of Golden Bones. Next up is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Yes, I know that this is on Kindle Unlimited. It was $19, which means it came in at about $13. And this is about two journalists two young rival journalists, and like gods begin reawakening and magic's in the world. And so these two rival journalists must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. This is an epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel filled with hope and heartbreak and the unparalleled power of love. Next up, ooh, I got my first sticker I get to tear off. Why are you so obnoxious? There we go. Oh my God, I did this again. This is The Vaster Wild by Lauren Groff. She wrote Fates and Furies. That's a novel that I could never get through. Moving on. This was $28. That will bring it down to about about closer to 20, like $19, $20. That's the end results. This is a newer book. I know that they had a lot of these. It was really popular. They were really promoting it. 2023, yep. It's not too thick, which thank God. It's about 250 pages long. So I'm excited. It's set in colonial times. A servant girl escapes from a colonial settlement into the night. She carries nothing with her but her wits, a few possessions, and the spark of God that burns hot within her. What she finds in this terra incognita is beyond the limits of her imagination and will bend her belief in everything that her own civilization has taught her. The Vaster Wilds is at once a thrilling adventure story and a penetrating fable about trying to find a new way of living in a world succumbing to the churn of colonialism. A work of raw and prophetic power tells the story of America in miniature through one girl at a hinge point in history to ask how and if we can adapt quickly enough to save ourselves. I think The Fates and the Furies was like too adult for me. Next up is Adam Nicholson's nonfiction work titled How to Be: Life Lessons from the Early Greeks. I don't buy history books and I don't really buy nonfiction very often. It's just not my jam. I don't know, maybe with time and age and patience I'll like them more. But this one sounds really, really interesting. It looks really, really cute. And I feel like now is a really good time for me to be reading this. It was $32. That'll bring it down to about $21, $22. And yeah, it's cute. I love the cover. I love how bright it is. And I'm really hoping that this will help me. Or at least I'll have some fun reading it. And maybe get some giggles out of it. Next up is another book with a sticker. By the way, they didn't take the additional like $5 off, like this one that I'm fighting. I won. Like they didn't take the $5 off that the sticker says. They only do like the 33%, but they also took the 10% off on top of that. So it's a little less than like the numbers I'm saying to you, but God. Next is Medusa's Sisters by Lauren J.A. Bear. I'm excited. This looks really, really cute. It was $28. That will bring it down to about like $19, $20 again with the 33% off. There are 3 Gorgons, though you know of only one, our youngest sister, the fair Medusa, punished by the gods, murdered by Perseus, but we were 3, and this is our story. It's about Medusa's sisters. Plot twist. I didn't expect that either. But it is about her sisters, and it sounds really interesting. I guess I never thought of them. I knew that there were multiple Gorgons, but I just never really considered them, and here I am once again buying another Greek retelling. Greek retellings are really popular, and I don't know if it's like just a now thing, or if I just didn't notice it. I don't know if like Circe and Achilles, the Song of Achilles, really kicked that off or what. Hey look, a crappy coupon. Buy one fresh baked cookie and get a 50% off the second one. That's so useless. Next up is Land of Milk and Honey by C. Pam Zhang. There's a book I talked to my therapist about, and we both were really interested in the concept. Originally $28, now brings it down to like $19, $20. One woman's discovery of pleasure alters her life and indirectly the world. Now, if you see this name and you go, she sounds familiar. Also, that cover is stunning. She wrote How Much of These Hills is Gold, which is a literary novel that took place, I want to say, like the 1850s or 1950s, very narrow window of time there. But about these 2 kids that their parents die and they have to go out in California and survive by themselves. It's a book I've started. I didn't really get very far into it because it wasn't what I was wanting at the time. But this one sounds very, very interesting. So I can't wait to read that. I don't know why I want to say it was like considered horror. They're calling it Haunting. Sensuous and biting, Land of Milk and Honey lays bare the agonies and ecstasies of seeking pleasure in a dying world. After a spreading smog leads to a food shortage, a talented chef escapes to a mountaintop community of the uber-rich. Here the air is cleansed. Meals are decadent. She emerges from years of bleakness to fall in love again with color, touch, taste, and desire. As boundaries undergo a thrilling erosion, the chef's enigmatic employer and his visionary daughter draw the chef into a startling attempt to reimagine the world. Soon the chef must weigh the meaning of her choices beyond the plate. Sounds interesting. Sounds like really interesting. I don't know why I always gravitate towards like the post-apocalyptic books, but here we are. Next up is Normal Rules Don't Apply. God, this one had a sticker too. By Kate Atkinson. She wrote Life After Life, which doesn't really mean much to me, but this is a collection of 11 short stories, and that cover is metallic. It's beautiful. I did look into this before I bought it. It's well liked, it's well received on Goodreads. I'm very thankful for that. 28 originally, so you know. Why couldn't I have done 50? My math would have been like pristine. Now I'm sitting here on like $19, $20-ish. Anyway, it's really interesting. The writing style is very pretty. My mother has already told me she wants to read this after me. 2023 publication, I think for the first time in the 3 years I've done this, almost all of these books are from 2023. I know that the Traveling Cat Chronicles isn't. This one's definitely a little older because he does have some other books, 2015. So he's the oddball. Pretty much everything else is 2023 as far as I've been able to notice. This just sounds really interesting. Cute little story. Here to be nice, easy to read before going to bed. The stories range, they feel very British. I don't mean that in like a bad way, like they feel British, but it's like they have notes of like melancholy that a lot of British authors seem to have. I'm excited. It's interesting. The one that I think I'm looking forward to most is A Man Who Bets on a Horse That May or May Not Have Spoken to Him. I'm curious. I want to know. I've got so many questions. And the last book is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong, the author of These Violent Delights. This is a signed edition. I am super, super excited about this. I do have this like as a book of the month edition, you know, so it has a little square there, has this here with like book of the month logo and stuff, and the back's not like this, it's just kind of blank. But I have it. It's essentially a fantasy, a romantasy. I think like the romance is the true B plot to this, but it's about this princess who killed her family. She's trying to totally dismantle the monarchy in her world, and like the gimmick, the fantasy element is that people can jump from like person to person, like body to body. I don't know the specifics, but they're able to do it. And there's a big tournament going on where if you win, if you're the best like body jumper, you know, you get to meet the king, who is her uncle, you know. And so it's interesting. It sounds flavorful as heck. So I can't wait to get into it. I think it's gonna be good. Here's to you, bud. And that wraps it up. Those are my books. There were a few books that I was really hoping to find, and I didn't ever really find them when I was looking. One of them was When Women Were Dragons, and well, obviously Hild, the first one in that giant Thickums book. There were just like a few that I was like really looking forward to, and I think I'm just gonna wait until I have my $20 coupons or whatever the heck they are and go from there. I'm very happy with the books I got. I wish this was in hardcover, that's the only thing. I am not happy with the sale. Honestly, I think if we were allowed to like price match half off on the books that were half off on the website, like, you know, like Jonathan Abernathy, You Were Kind, and oh my God, why am I blanking? And Big Swiss and Chlorine. If I was able to price match those to the website, get half off, but still get credits, you know, towards the $50 or whatever the heck it is, or even without it, just match the 50% just raw right there, I would have been so happy. That would have made it worth it, in my opinion. And of course, this is all my opinion. I don't think it's really worth it to go into the store and get those books unless you do have that premium membership and you do plan on going back to Barnes & Noble for like a second round and just hope that you spent enough to be able to get enough coupons. I'll call them like they are. Get enough coupons to go towards other books after the sale. Like, I'm salty about it. I'm really salty about it. I don't know. It's just something to think about. Once again, they did, like, yeah, hate that. Once again, they did do, like, the 10% off on top of the other discount. One of the books, just one, ended up being over $20. And that's the Meanwood, the one that was like $35 originally. It was $35 less 33, which is $11.55, less the additional 10%, which was $2.35, and less like 30 cents because we had a $5 coupon, whatever you want to call it, reward. It's a coupon. So it still was $20 when before, if it was half off, truly half off, that would have been $17.50. I know I'm a grumpy, mean person, but that just makes me salty. The next most expensive book was How to Be: Life Lessons from the Early Greeks at $19, but that is like a $32, $33 book, so that's not too surprising. The rest of them were almost reasonable. This one ended up being $11.30, and once again, that is with taking like the $5 coupon. I'll call it that again. The $5 coupon spread across all these books. Like it attributed 23, like 30, 26, 16 cents for each book as a discount, and I hate that. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I think this is a cheap and kind of sleazy way, honestly, for them to be like, no, it's the same effect, getting this, you know, at 33% off, and if you buy, you know, enough for, let's just say $50, we'll give you a $20 coupon, okay? Okay. Hate it. Just give me 50% off. I understand, like I said, it's a tactic, it's a method of optimizing their sales while still being able to say, no, you can get the same rate, same discount. Okay, that's about it for me. Thank y'all so much for liking. Thank you so much for commenting, subscribing. It means so much to me. And I hope you're having a good 12 days of Christmas. I know I started it a little late. My Christmas day ended up going until like 6 or 7 for dinner. Lunch. Not joking. I'm so tired. I'm still tired. I still have like my Christmas hangover, like socially speaking, not alcohol speaking. Let me know in the comments if there are any books that you're looking to buy from either the Barnes & Noble sale or that you bought and you're looking forward to. I gotta go do stuff. Ugh. Wait a minute. Oh my God, wait. Hold please. Oh my God. Oh my God, okay. I was going through my receipt, as you can tell, and I was looking to see, you know, like which one's my favorite, which one I'm most looking forward to reading. And the very first item is Tom Lake, and then it says in parentheses, signed book. And I was like, no, it doesn't have the sticker anywhere on here that shows that it's signed. It's signed. It's officially. I had no idea. Okay, that's really exciting. That's really cool. Oh, Mom's gonna freak.